Hi everyone, I'm Kalila Reynolds and welcome to another live edition of Taking Stock. We're bringing you all the latest business news and telling you how it will affect you and of course your money. Now we want you to head over to KalilaReynolds.com/newsletter once this event has ended. You definitely need to be on the newsletter, get that information straight to your inbox so you can keep up with everything we have going on. Also, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the chat, where are you joining us from this evening? How many of you tuned in last night for the real cost of debt? Oh my gosh, it was a moment. It was epic. Oh, I couldn't believe we had so many signups. We had so many people joining the live. Yes, we're going to be doing much more inside the Money Mission community. So I strongly encourage you to join that community because I'm going to be moving more and more of my content over to that platform. So join now while the price is what it is. You still have an opportunity up until tomorrow to become a foundation member. Just let me know in the comments if you were there last night and what you thought of it. And also let me know where you're joining us from. Now, we've got a great show lined up for you. So here's a look at what's coming up in tonight's show, followed by what's hot in business. And of course, come on, let's get this money.
Caribbean Producers Jamaica is looking to spend $7 million to expand its operations in Jamaica and St Lucia. Plus, they're reporting a 25% increase in operating revenue for the third quarter ending March 31, 2023 when compared to the previous year. We'll discuss these and more with CPJ's Executive Chairman and Interim CEO Mark Hart. And the Analysts weighing on the latest market developments. Spur Tree results are out. How did they perform? And FosRich has finally set the record date for the company's upcoming rights issue. We'll discuss.
But first, here's What's Hot, brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
The case against former Stocks and Securities Limited wealth advisor Jean Panton has taken an interesting turn. According to a recent court filing, Panton said she only confessed to the $3 billion fraud because of an alleged offer made by SSL founder and former director Hugh Croskery. The offer was allegedly made on behalf of the company. According to Panton, she would have not confessed if the offer was not made. The former wealth advisor confessed to stealing billions from investors' accounts over a decade. She was charged with breaches of the Larceny Act, the Proceeds of Crime Act, the Forgery Act, and the Cybercrimes Act. Veteran businessman and founder of the Alaska-affiliated companies Lascelles Chin has died. Mr. Chin died Saturday night in Miami, Florida. He was 86. Chin, who served as the executive chairman of LASCO, is regarded as one of Jamaica's most distinguished and respected entrepreneurs and philanthropists. The country's leaders and members of the business community have been paying tribute to the renowned businessman. Prime Minister Andrew Holness described Mr. Chin as a visionary leader and advocate for change, whose entrepreneurial drive transformed LASCO into a household name. Banking fees are going up again. Customers from several banks will be charged for various transactions as institutions look for ways to bring in more revenue. JN, Victoria Mutual, and JMMB Bank are the latest banks to signal an increase in service fees. The bank said dramatic rises in interest rates, inflation, and other costs were the main contributing factors to the price increase. Among the changes, JN customers will now pay a $30 fee for withdrawals from JN ATMs after the first 4. JMMB increased its international RTGS fee charge from $50 to $70, while in-branch services at VMBS, such as cash withdrawals up to $100,000, will now attract a $300 fee. The news comes as several banks have also increased the interest rates on variable loans. Businessman and board chairman of NCB Financial Group Michael Lee Chin has assured shareholders that his health is fine following news that he'll be taking a leave of absence. NCBFG announced last week that the billionaire would be stepping away from his role for 3 months to deal with other matters. The announcement triggered panic and speculation among investors, prompting Mr. Leachin to release a statement. He said he'll be using the time away to focus on two passion projects in alternative cancer treatments and clean energy. NCBFG's stock price closed Friday at $70.22, down 12% since January. Oil and gas company ExxonMobil and its partners have reportedly earned nearly $6 billion from offshore oil production in Guyana last year. Exxon partnered with fellow gas companies Hescore and CNOOC Limited to begin production in the country. The group started production in Guyana in 2019 and is responsible for all of the country's oil output. According to the company's financial results, Exxon took in $2.7 billion from its share of the group's offshore oil production, while Hess and CNOOC pocketed $1.5 billion each. The trio were producing about 375,000 barrels of oil per day from two offshore vessels by the end of 2022 and plan to pump about 1.2 million barrels per day in 2027. The United States has reached a tentative agreement to increase its debt ceiling and avoid a potential financial crisis. The U.S. debt ceiling is a spending limit set by Congress that determines how much money the government can borrow. The current limit is set at $31.4 trillion. President Joe Biden and Republic House Speaker Kevin McCarthy reached an agreement in principle over the weekend to raise the debt ceiling late Saturday and stop the U.S. from defaulting. The deal still has to be approved by the U.S. Congress before the June 5th deadline. If the debt ceiling is not raised, the U.S. would not have been able to borrow any more money or pay all of its bills, which would have likely triggered a recession and wiped out retirement accounts.
What's Hot was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart. This segment of Taking Stock is brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, insurance made easy.
Is it just me? Am I the only one who always get hype off at the Taking Stock music? No, it always makes me dance for some reason. So before I introduce this evening's guest, let me shout out the early warmers this evening. Let's see who we have. Kish, as usual, joining from London, saying, hey there, moneymakers. Hey, Kish. Navardo, says, let's get this money. You know what we're talking about. Navardo. Keisha, as usual, ready and waiting in Manchester. Keisha is or was one of our very, 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 very first subscribers to the Money Mission community. Big up yourself, Keisha. Almighty is in St. Thomas in the building, money making any weather. Is it raining there in St. Thomas too? It's raining in Kingston right now. My producer says it's raining in Portmore. Looks like it's raining all around the island right now. Treat You Botanical says, let's get this money. Manchester present and waiting. He or she also says, good evening, money class. We have Orville, another regular from Spanish Town in the house. So shouting out everybody this evening. 1-1 Coco Investor says, let's get this dividend so we can build it up brick by brick. And for some reason, this platform doesn't tell us the emojis or doesn't show me the emojis, but it describes them. Body blue raised arms. So it's the raised arm emoji. that's what that is supposed to be. And of course, Nano Sense always joining us as usual, checking in from far, far away, and Anthony in Portmore. All right, so let me know who was with us last night. What did you think of that session, the real cost of debt? And have you had an opportunity yet to look around the Money Mission community, see what's going on, see the potential, see what we're trying to build here? I'm going to talk about that more later in the show. Right now, let me introduce our main guest, because Caribbean Producers Jamaica is looking to spend $7 million to expand its operations in Jamaica and St. Lucia. Plus, they're reporting a 25% increase in operating revenue for the third quarter ending March 31 of this year compared with the previous year. So let's discuss with CPJ's chairman and interim CEO, Mark Hart. Welcome back, Mark.
Thank you, Kalila. Thanks for having me again.
How are you doing? Where are you this evening?
I'm at home. It's 8 o'clock. It's getting close to my bedtime.
No, I meant what city, what time?
Oh,
what
Montego Bay. We're from Montego Bay.
Ah, okay,
CPJ
okay.
is in
Is it
Montego Bay, and this is where I live. But I
is it
see you
really?
dancing on TV, but I didn't see you at any of the big events this weekend. What happened to you?
They had big events this weekend?
Oh my gosh, you didn't
Oh, you
see
mean Calabash?
Calabash was the
I
first one.
thought about it. I thought about taking it, but my kids are small, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to take my 3-year-old to Calabash
Yeah.
Confusion, and yeah, I think he's a little bit young for that event. But I love that event. I used to go
Well,
all the time.
it was incredible this year. You know, they had some very big names drop
I
in.
saw
Angelina
Angelina
Jolie,
Jolie was there.
yeah, and Padma from Top Chef
Ah,
was there,
nice.
and others.
Yeah, it looked like it was great because I'm big into literature. I don't know if you know this about me, but
Okay,
I actually have self-published 2 books, one with poetry and one with short stories. I used to be heavy,
really?
heavy on the literature scene back in the day. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so
Before,
now you're
before I
going to
went
make
into
money.
business.
Now
Before
you're only about money, right?
not only,
No, but
I
you
have to have
make you
too.
really do make talking about money seem, like really the right thing to do, and I think it's a good thing.
Which
There
is
used
how
to be
it's
this.
supposed to be,
It
because I
should
feel
be.
like too much of the discussion, even when we talk about companies like yours, it's all this button
Mhm.
up, oh, stiff, but that's
Right.
that's not what money is about. Money affects everybody. Money affects the entire economy. It affects all of us. It affects our jobs. It affects how many people you can hire at
Exactly.
CPJ. So it's
Exactly.
important for us to talk about it in a way that everybody can relate to, because it affects all of us, right?
Exactly.
So the last time.
There was a past prime minister that always said it takes cash to care, right? And
Exactly.
nothing can be truer than that. And then, of course, Michael Bolton was on Saturday night, which I drove
Yeah,
over to
for
Ocho Rios.
The ISA Foundation event.
Right. And CPJ made a big commitment to supporting that charity, which is, they do great work in the hospitals. And, we had about 3 bars there. We put our food there. And it was also another great event. So next year, maybe we'll see you out, right?
Yeah, maybe I'll see how my son stay next year. If I think he can manage one of those events at 4, we'll see.
Right.
Right now at
Exactly.
3, it's rough.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then with the heat too. But yeah, so last
Yeah.
time you were here talking about CPJ, it was
Hmm.
because you were the best performing stock on the stock
Right.
exchange,
Hmm.
right? And at
Hmm.
that time, you gave us the breaking news that you're going to be opening in St. Anne,
Yes.
um,
Which we
at
did.
Drax Hall. And
Yeah.
I have since stopped by and seen the location. And I'm like,
Okay. Good.
it's so cool that you told me that on this
Mhm.
show. And now here we are actually seeing it coming to fruition. So just give us an update of how the company's been doing over the past year.
So the company's been doing great, and the stores, that CPJ Market in Draxall is doing fantastic. We're getting a lot of support there, and of course, we opened our flagship store in Montego Bay about a year now, and that's really a store to see, Kalila. We've got like tremendous support, reviews. The sales have gone up over 100% over the store that we had in place prior to this. So that model of doing our retail, our markets,
Nice.
and we call them like chef markets. They really give us a chance to display all our products and put them out, for small businesses, for clients like yourself, and we see that as a avenue of growth for the company going forward.
Very, very nice. So tell me about the Montego Bay location. You said that that's really the one to watch right now. So is that mostly geared to the tourist market? Just like, well, I assume the one in Drax Hall is as well.
Right. So it is geared for small businesses. So anybody that has a small restaurant, it could be a gourmet restaurant or pizza place, or it could be, even just a local cook shop. That's a big part of our business. So, instead of waiting for somebody to distribute things, you can actually come in and be treated almost as if you're dealing with a large distributor, but in a retail environment where you can touch and feel the products and take them back with you at the same time. And then, of course, the Airbnb has become quite a phenomenon, as you can imagine, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you've seen the reports on that. They're saying now that the Airbnb is representing almost 40% of our tourism product.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
everybody's getting into it. And it's really a great thing because I think anybody that has, an investment in property can put it out for Airbnb. And those customers, are coming to us in droves. Not just the villas, but also, people that are just coming to stay on those informal environments.
Because
So
what I've noticed with the Airbnbs, I've stayed at a couple of them before, many of them offer private chef service. So
yes,
you rent your Airbnb and you also have a housekeeper and a chef who come with the property and they will come to your place and prepare food. You just tell them what you want. They will go out to say a CPJ and select the items and cook for you. So that really is a
where's
huge
a
market.
CPJ? Where's the other CPJ?
That's somebody in the comments asking?
What did they say?
No, were you asking
No,
where's the
no,
other?
I'm saying you said they come to a CPJ. Just say they come to CPJ.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say a company like CPJ. My
Right.
mind is
Okay.
going faster than my
Yeah.
my mouth can speak the
Right.
words. So
So
yes,
that's been a great success for us. And then of course our traditional business, hospitality is going leaps and bounds. Really, the recovery from COVID has been really impressive. Khalila, as you reported, our sales are up by 25% over previous year's results. And May is the last day of May is tomorrow, and we will set a record month beyond our belief in terms of sales. So we're very excited, and summer hasn't even started yet. So who's to tell what's going to happen? Traditionally, we get a really strong July and August, and we're very excited to see how it unfolds. And we're making sure that we're ready to supply all the hotels, and we will also, of course, we're looking to the expansion, Kalila. We just opened Sandals Duns River. Um, Adam Stewart and his team did
I
most
saw that.
incredible job. Yeah. I don't know if you had a chance to see that.
I have. He's been all over TikTok and Instagram showing us the property. Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah. I mean, to think that they bought those two hotels in the middle, right at the beginning of the pandemic, actually, is pretty bold. And then to see, Adam opening that hotel so shortly after the, coming out of the pandemic is a real boost. And then, you look down the road and you see the Rio is building right beside Blue Diamond in Trelawney. I don't know if you've seen that property going up.
I have not been that side in a while, so no, I haven't
Okay.
seen that one.
Well, it's 5 stories or 6 stories already. I mean, if you drove down the hill, by Burwood Beach, you'd see this massive structure going up. Further west, you got the Princess putting up their 1,000 rooms close to Green Island. You can only see that by the sea. But my partner, Tom Tyler, takes his boat to Negril quite often. And I think he does it just so he can see the hotel being built. But that's another massive one going up. And then, of course, you have the Hard Rock in the Rose Hall area, which broke ground about 4 months ago. And they're starting to, they're piling right now, but we expect that to start coming up out the ground in the next few months. So CPJ cannot wait for these things to be built. We have to anticipate when they open. So we're doing everything we can now. And that's what you're seeing here with this push for CapEx to make sure that we're ready for when these guys open, that we can supply and maintain our share of business.
Mm-hmm. You know what, guys, you money makers watching, Mark makes such an important point because many of you, well, most of you watching right now are investors. And when you think about investing in the tourism sector, you can't just think direct tourism, Dolphin Cove and them. You have to think who serves the sector. And this is companies like CPJ who service the sector, who benefit when tourism expands. You have to think Knutsford Express, all of these companies that are affected and impacted and serve the sector, and they grow and generate revenue when tourism is doing well. We have a couple of questions from the audience already. Ricardo wants to know, well, I guess you answered his question already. How is the performance of the hotel chains that you supply with the increase in visitor arrivals?
So, Kalila, I'm really impressed with the way, as I said, that they've rebounded. Everybody has raised their rates because, you had some inflation, and they've been able to raise their rates and maintain the level of business with increased room rates. But to be honest with you, seeing how these large chains navigated, a catastrophic event, basically shutting them down completely for close to 6 months, and then a very gradual rebuilding, has given me a level of confidence that I never had before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even before COVID.
Yeah. I mean, just to see how they've been able to withstand this massive shock and then recover, really without, a huge disruption to their financial stability. Some of them, of course, Playa made a very aggressive move selling those properties to Sandals. They wanted to bring in the cash. But that's the only one I can really point to. Just to see, how they managed it, and they're back in business and they're thriving is just a wonderful thing. And of course, it could have been that they went bankrupt, and then you'd have had long court cases, and then you'd have had properties that would be shut, as they try to unwind the assets and the creditors and all of that. We never saw any of that, and thank God.
Producer Sashel, make a note. I think we need to visit Mobe and do a special feature or some type of feature just showing the rebound of the resilience, the rebound, and all the construction that is going on, the new properties going up. I think we need to document that for the show.
You should, because it's a wonderful story, and all my friends were involved. I have Ian Dare from Margaritaville. Just think what he went through, at the airport with the massive investments that they made, and those were closed. And then you had John Biles, with Chukka, and having businesses all throughout the Caribbean, having to basically wind them down and try and keep people employed. You had tour companies, it's countless. It goes on and on. Of course, the hoteliers themselves. So it was a pretty, for us down here, Kalila, it was a major event. We all banded together. The Minister of Tourism created a task force, which a lot of these people I just mentioned were involved with, and really did an incredible job. And it's something that, as you said, should be told and documented. And you are an excellent person to do that.
Yeah,
I'm sure everybody would open up to you because you're very engaging.
Oh, thank you. All right, next question comes from our good friend Nano Sense. He's a farmer, and he wants to know what percentage of your products are sourced locally.
Okay, so anytime we can source things locally, we like to do that. We do have some fairly large brands that we represent. We sell a lot of the Surge Island products like milk and other fats and things that they make. We sell Eaton sauces into the hotels. We do some business with other manufacturers here. We do not sell any produce, farm produce, and that's a complicated decision because the tax structures for imported produce, and you'd really need to have a combination of imported produce with the locally farmed products. Despite our market and our incredible cold chain and being able to represent the farmers, we're just unfortunately there's some things that are preventing us from doing that in the policies. We'll still try and pursue that. But the local market does supply tourism very heavily, Kalila, and I think it's understated. Um, but we are certainly open. We have a processing plant. We process over 1,000 pigs a month. Those are all local, and we make products, hams and sausages and all those nice things. I hope you've had some if you eat meat.
I have actually, but the question was about percentage. Do you have a percentage that's
It,
local
it
to
it's a low
imported?
percent. It's not. I don't actually track that as a percentage. If I was to guess, it would be under 10%.
Is it a capacity issue where you're not able to source enough locally?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The hotels, they demand a very wide range of products. We carry over 4,000 items, and overall, I don't know what the percentage is that the hotels use, but as I said, we don't necessarily. There are a lot of major suppliers that go direct to the hotels with local products. Of course, all chicken locally, all locally. Those things. There's a lot of local seafood that would all go locally. The lobster business is all local. CPJ, unfortunately, doesn't get to represent those people. Some of them have their own distribution chains, so we don't get to do that. But
Understood.
but we would like to continue to develop agri-processing and increase our local production.
Understood. By the way, are you still involved in the restaurant business? Because you used to have a fairly popular restaurant, Uptowners in Kingston, and the Upper St. Andrew crew used to
Yeah,
frequent regularly, but COVID kind of put an end to that. Are you out of that business completely now?
yeah, we're out of the business, Kalila. We still own the brand Crew, and we've developed a really great relationship with the operators. They're doing a fantastic job, and we collaborate with our products into their business. And that's really the model that we're pursuing. The food business is not really our business, and we've found out the hard way. But we are really, set up geared to support people in the food business. And I think that's where we're best fit, is to support people that are good at that business and have the focus on restaurant. That is not for the faint of heart. I don't know if you ever tried it, but my recommendation is, unless you're there every day and passionate and you're in it and that's your focus, don't do it.
Yeah, restaurant business is tough.
It's
I
tough.
have not tried it. A very, very close friend of mine has. And that was
Mhm.
a whole, the biggest issue, theft.
Yeah.
The
Yes,
employees
and
doing it themselves.
it's just it's very, believe it or not, it's very labor intense. It's got a lot of quality control aspects. Customers, always feel like they're paying too much. So, and the restaurateur wants to charge more. It's a complicated business. I think if you're in it for a formula like KFC, then you're on the right track.
Yeah, Treat You Bacchanal says the food business is really hectic. So I've
Yes.
heard. And you
Yes.
mentioned something as well about price. Customers always feel like they're paying too much. Will customers or are customers seeing increases in prices on your end due to, inflation and everything that's going on right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. So during the pandemic, as you know, the global supply chain was disrupted pretty severely. So we didn't even know if we were going to get product. So we had to go out very aggressively and purchase product, and that actually demanded higher pricing, and of course the shipping lines became ridiculous. I mean, they were charging $10,000 to just even simply book a container on a ship. So luckily our my partner Tom Tyler was very aggressive in the purchasing cycle. So we made sure that we had product here, and unfortunately we saw rising prices during that cycle. But then on the back of that, now prices are falling, and we're having to discount. So we have a lot of items that are actually going down and being discounted, and we're waiting to replace them with the lower cost product. So that whole cycle of inflation, we're seeing a lot of easing with that, and that will work well for our customers. But at the beginning, it was really more about just making sure that they had all the products they need, and pricing had to be, we just had to take what was being demanded. It was a simple matter of who had it, got the sale, and that's what happened.
All right. Garvin wants to know if you plan to raise fresh equity, and if so, in what form? He says the debt to equity ratio needs some love.
The debt to equity needs some love. Okay. Well, I won't tackle that particular point, but just to say that we had planned to go to the market to raise some equity. We had targeted a major acquisition. However, the rapid change in the capital markets really just made us pause on that. We were going to do it with a combination of debt and equity. But what has happened in the last 6 months on the capital market side, and it's really just made it a little bit more of a challenge. So we figured, we have so much here organic to work on, the processing plant investment that we're talking about, expanding in St. Lucia, continuing to build out our retail stores. We're bringing on new products, and that takes money in itself. So I think we just said, let's just hang back, wait for the markets to kind of stabilize, and then, we'll decide if we want to go to the stock market. Raising capital is probably not quite as easy, not just from, the banks and other creditors, but on the equity side. Khalila, what would you say? You're seeing, you're in touch with the stock market. You're seeing that it's a little hard right now, no?
It is. We're all seeing that. And I feel like everybody's scared to come to market right now.
Right. Yeah. And the whole activity around the market is a little bit dampened, right? But that also creates opportunities. So I would say to your listeners, if you have some liquidity, now is probably the time. The market has been down for a while, and once things sort of normalize, I think the gains will come back roaring. So, maybe this is a good opportunity.
Roaring gains. We hope to see it. We look forward to it. I love that phrase. Come back roaring. Yes. Yes. All right. So next question. We have a couple people asking about dividends. O'Shane wants to know any dividends soon.
Okay. So if O'Shane was paying attention, which I'm sure maybe he read our MDA, which is posted on the Jamaica Stock Exchange website. We did mention that we will, in the next financial year, which starts in July, go back to considering dividends. However, it's a toss-up, especially in light of all the things that we want to invest in right now, and the capital markets, which we just described, going out, securing credit to undertake. So we just took a decision that we're going to plow everything back into the company right now, hold off on the dividends just for a little bit longer. But hopefully early in the next financial year, we'll consider some dividends. We do have quite a few shareholders that have been asking the same question. So good question, O'Shane.
All right. So a little bit more patience, guys. All right. In your results, you also say that you're making further investments in energy-saving projects and information technology systems. But can you tell us, break this down for us? What kind of projects specifically, and what systems?
Okay. So we have had solar installed at CPJ, and it's a very successful installation. It's about 7 years old. We've had it recently surveyed. It's still performing very well. But of course, with all the uncertainty around utilities and the rising cost of electricity, that's really a no-brainer, Khalila. I mean, it's basically a 3.5 year payback right now, which is kind of typical of where it's been sitting. So, there are not many things you can invest in and get a 3.5 year payback. And it's also good for the environment. And so we're investing about $1 million on a expansion of our solar system. Will help us when we ramp up our processing plants and all the other activities that we're doing, which are starting to, put some strain on our utility cost. We've seen those go up, since the lows, and with all the unstable global activities around Ukraine and other things that are forcing. We just don't know what can happen with the price of electricity. So we want to make sure that have some alternate energy, renewable energy in the ground to offset any uncertainties that may come along in the next year or so. We hope it doesn't happen because it affects everything. It affects everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned earlier that you're expanding to St. Lucia and in Jamaica as well. Why St. Lucia specifically? Is that like well, it has been a hot destination, but why the CPJ?
Right. So we're starting to do really well in St. Lucia. It's the company there is only about 7 years old. We have a joint venture with a very prominent family there, the Duboulay family. CPJ owns 51% of the company. We started largely because of the pandemic. We wanted to diversify when hospitality was in a sudden decline. We had a store there. We expanded it, and in St. Lucia, it's a full-blown retail supermarket that we established, and the success there has been phenomenal. It's really given us some diversity, and of course, the margins are pretty good in retail. So another opportunity has come up in a fantastic location in St. Lucia, and we know what we're doing. We're running it very well. It's contributing very nicely to the bottom line there. So we're going to go forward. It's about a $3 million investment. The developers of the area that we're going into are helping to support us with some of the infrastructure. Of course, we have to pay for it, but they're putting up some of that. And then CPJ will put in its portion. And we have high hopes that it's going to be just another level of diversification, but also great profitability in St. Lucia. So we're excited. And
Good
of course,
stuff.
we're tying the systems together. That's part of the ERP, that we're planning to put in the next year or two.
And you also have plans for a processing plant. Do you have a location? Where's that going to be?
The processing plant is actually existing, but we have held back on investing in the processing plant for several years, Kalila. It's expensive. It's real expensive. One machine that we're going to buy is going to cost us $1.4 million US.
Ouch.
One machine. And my partners wanted this machine for
what type of processing, by the way? This is meat processing?
Primarily meat processing. Yeah. So we've been basically operating at full capacity for several years, and the equipment is just not allowing us to take it to the next step. We want to get into exporting. We've done some exporting of our meat process products, but we feel that if we make the investment now, we can really tie into some exports. And then, of course, I just spoke about the expansions taking place in the hospitality sector. When these hotels open, they're going to need products, and we can't be trying to make products in an old beaten up factory. Not that we have an old beaten up factory, but you know what I mean. I mean, things do depreciate over time. And that plant is about 10 years old. So we're making a commitment right now to be ready and also to have it export. And then it will allow us to do further R&D, develop some really nice products, bring some new things to the market, which hopefully, you'll get to see those in the retail space in the next 6 months or so.
All right. Well, before I let you go, Mark, what can investors expect for the rest of the year and in the near future?
Well, what I would say is that we're in our last quarter of the year, and the first month of the last quarter has been really great. I can't say what the profitability is, but on the top line, and of course, the margins are pretty healthy. And, we have no reason not to think that actually it's not the first month. Sorry, it's the second month. We have one more month left, but we have no doubt that we're going to be able to close the quarter very strong and deliver a good year results. And going into the next financial year, we're setting the stage to have a really fantastic year, and we're going to work like hell at it. And we think we have all the pieces in place, and we're making some moves now with these investments that I think will add to our capabilities at CPJ. Things are looking really great, Kalila.
Well, we're happy to see it, and we're here for the ride. We'll be watching you and rooting for you. Thanks so much for joining me, Mark.
Please come to Montego Bay, and we'd love to show you around.
We've got to make it happen.
If you want to do that story, let me know.
Yes, we are going to make it happen. Thanks again. All right, viewers, money makers. All right, before we get into the next segment, let me just take a couple last comments. So Garvin says, big up CPJ, my company every time. Happy shareholder. Looking forward to some dividends in the future. So that's going to be like next year, Garvin. And then Speechless makes a good point. He says, at that type of capital outlay, you have to export. Great point. So, you heard Mark talking about having to spend I think he said 1.2 million US on equipment to do the processing. Yup. If you're going to be spending that kind of money, you got to think about markets outside Jamaica to make back your investment. Great point. Speechless. Absolutely. So before we go into our poll question for this evening, have you guys been joining the live streams on Money Mission? I know Keisha has been. Different Keisha Bailey from the other Keisha Bailey who's coming on later. Keisha has definitely joined our live streams. I go live mostly on Mondays and Thursdays. We're dropping gems inside the community, and there's going to be a lot more content coming up there. Like I said, I'm going to be moving some of my premium content into the Money Mission community. I've already moved the masterclass series in there. I've hosted the real cost of debt last night, and a lot of stuff that you guys get for free now, and you're used to getting for free, which is cool. Taking Stock will remain on YouTube, but some of the other things that take a lot of effort, that take a lot of work, that require a lot of money and investment. You guys don't realize it costs me money to produce the content for you. It is not free to me. All the stuff that goes into it, this studio, renting the studio, paying the light bill and the AC, all that stuff costs money. So we got to make some money back. And I'm encouraging you to support that, not just for me and for us, but also for yourself, because there is great value being provided inside the Money Mission community. So last night, our topic was the real cost of debt. And here is a quick look at what you missed if you haven't watched it yet. That you should ask when you're getting a loan. So before you start, you want to check your credit score so that you can be in a position of power to negotiate. Did you know that you're entitled to a free credit report every single year in Jamaica? And yes, Jamaica does use credit scores. Credit scores in Jamaica range from a low of 250 to a high of 900. And anything above 600 is considered good. Most of you don't know your credit score. Where can you get your credit score? You can get your credit score at one of these websites, CRIF or Credit Info JA. And I actually have it inside Money Mission. So let me show you right here inside our membership. Here on the webinars, the real cost of debt. You go to feed and you will see here is the article, Know Your Credit Score. Every Jamaican over the age of 18 is entitled to one, and I put the links in there for you. Yeah, so you can download a sample credit report. You can apply for your credit score and the point I was making there is that we were talking about debt. And one of the first things that you need to know is where is your position? What is your position? Where do you stand as a possible consumer of debt? You want to be in a position where you know your strengths or your weaknesses. How much leverage do you have to negotiate with these lenders? Do you know if you have good credit or bad credit? And if you know you have good credit, and you know for a fact because you've checked your credit report and you've seen your credit score, then that puts you in a much better position to negotiate with these lenders and get a lower interest rate and get better terms. You can basically dictate the terms of your loan to these lenders. And I have done that in the past. So that is one of the things that we spoke about last night inside the real cost of debt. The replay is still available. This is the last 24 hours because it's going to be available for 48 hours. So it came up, we started last night. So today is the first day. Tomorrow night, it's going to go into the paid membership. So right now it is free. The live webinar last night was free. And you have 48 hours to continue viewing it for free. So tomorrow night, it's going into the paid community for our paid members. So you still have an opportunity to do that. The link is in the description of this video. And if you want it as well, you can go to moneymission.mn.co. That's moneymission.mn.co to see what your options are. Once you go to that, that's the landing page. You will also see the option for you to purchase a membership, either a basic membership or a premium membership, and you will see the option to access just that webinar, which is the real cost of debt. It's a really, really cool community, and I see some questions right here in the chat as well about it. So let me take some of those questions right now. First of all, where is it? All right, Maria says, how does the Money Mission community relate to those who did the Money Mission Investment for Beginners Masterclass? Great question, Maria. So let me show you. So first of all, did you do just Investing for Beginners, or did you do the entire series? Because the series includes not just Investing for Beginners, but also the series on the part on debt and the part on budgeting. So let me show you. So when you purchase a premium membership, you get access to this part of the community. And you can see right here. Am I not logged in? Why is it showing me? No, I'm logged in. All right. So you get access to the premium courses. So Investing for Beginners is here, but we also have some other courses, including Build Your Budget. And this is a 5-week challenge that comes up. We're going to be starting it in late June because we want to plan the second half of our year. We're going to make plans for how we are going to survive in this environment of inflation and high interest rates the second half of 2023. So we're going to build our budget for the second half of this year, and we're going to get a hold on our finances. We're going to plan for Independence Weekend, where you want to take that vacation, you want to go to the parties, you want to go with your kids to an all-inclusive Independence Weekend. How are you going to pay for it? Let's figure that out in the Build Your Budget Challenge. And then right after that, you have what? September morning come, you have to pay school fees. Let's plan for that inside the Build Your Budget Challenge. And then a couple months later, when school start, right around the corner is Christmas. We got to plan for it. So we got to plan for all these things that are coming up in the second half of the year. So you're going to get access to the Build Your Budget Challenge, to Debt Do-Over course. And this is already in the existing Money Mission. So you would have done this, you would have viewed these videos already inside the existing Money Mission. If you purchased that before, you saw this. You saw how credit cards work, how you can get in trouble. You already have access to the debt repayment calculator, and you understand how debt consolidation works. Using credit wisely. You have this already if you've already purchased the original Money Mission. If you did just Investing for Beginners, you don't have all of this just yet. And then Investing for Beginners, so that's these courses, or these lessons in Investing for Beginners. And of course, Keisha's course on Finding Great Companies, which is a more intermediate level course. And I'm also working on an advanced level course that is going to be added to this series. So if you already purchased though, who was it who asked again? Let me go back into the stream. Who was it who asked the question? Maria. Maria, if you already purchased the Money Mission or Investing for Beginners Masterclass, I have a special link for you. So email me, Sachelle, please put up my email address. Email me personally, and I will send you the link to get a special offer on the community. Now, how would it benefit you if you already purchased, some of that? Well, first of all, you get access to build your budget. But secondly, you also get access to all our resources, which will be updated regularly. So right now you have here free resources. You have all of our documents, including the broker guide. This is a document called Financial Terms Made Simple that you can download. You have access to the Build Your Budget template. You have access to the Best Credit Cards document, and we're going to be updating this very, very, very soon. So right now, Sachelle, who's the producer tonight, is working on a few documents. She's working on best mortgages, best car loans, and she's also working on best dividend paying companies. So those are going to be added to this very soon. You also, with your basic or premium membership, get access to these, how to read financial statements. This is a really great course. I was impressed with myself when I was uploading this to the community. I was like, man, we did great with this, with all this information here, explaining everything. You have the videos that support it. You have the text to refer back to. You can take the quiz at the end. We have Caribbean stock markets. This stuff is on YouTube, but we just put it here as well. So you have, how to find it easily and how to use JTrader Pro. And then in addition to all the courses and just all the information, to me, the biggest value of the community is its members. It is all about shared learning. So this is something that we did last night as well. You have your checklist, what to ask when you're getting a loan. These are questions that you should ask yourself, that you should ask your lenders as well. And like I said, the real value is in the community, is in us sharing knowledge, sharing resources, and sharing information. I am going to be leading the charge in the beginning. And of course, it's my community. It has my name and my brand on it. But ultimately, I want this to be a place where you guys, the money makers, come together and share your knowledge. I don't want it to be all about me. Right now, it has to be about me because I have to drive it and drive content in the community. But I want it to be all about you, letting us know what you think. Hello to Donovan, who's learned how to love learning new things. And these are some comments from some of our new members. Izzy was asking how many people actually know their credit score. So I was giving an example last night in the community about, let's say you have an accountant who is in the community. And this accountant has knowledge about QuickBooks, how to set up QuickBooks. That accountant could host a session in the community and give a quick 1 hour crash course, how to use QuickBooks. And then at the end, they could say, well, by the way, guys, if you need an accountant, I do accounting. So you can end up pitching your services and finding other people who need your service within the community. I gave another example because we were talking last night mostly about debt. I said, okay, suppose you want to use some of the strategies that we spoke about to reduce your debt. You want to go negotiate with your lenders to get your principal down, negotiate your interest rates, whatever it is. But you're new to this, you've never done it before, but there's somebody else who has done it before. And you post a question in the group and you say, guys, I'm approaching this particular bank, but they tell me no. Do you know who I could talk to? And then somebody else in the group responds, yeah, you can go to so-and-so because I've been there before and they deal with me good. So it's about us sharing that information with each other. When you have people who are on the same path as you, and you get to connect with them on a deeper level in a community that's focused on this thing. So you're not on Twitter where you're distracted by a million other things that are happening. You're on this community where this is all you're talking about. You're talking money issues. We have our live Q&As, which are usually on Mondays and Thursdays. I have one here scheduled for, Thursday, that's this week, June 1. So I guess that means I have to show up on Thursday. Okay, all right. We have a group for entrepreneurs. The entrepreneur space has two groups, one for funding opportunities. So whenever I or any of you hear about any funding opportunities, we post it in the entrepreneurs group. So here I have one I saw one, JSC DBJ Venture Capital Room, and I posted the link where you can apply. Speaking of link, I see Link launched the microloan business. So I posted that in there. And then of course if you know of anything, of any funding opportunities, you can post that in this particular group. And then there might be other opportunities for businesses as well. I don't have anything in that space just yet. And then we have the investors tab. So we have a tab here for Jamaican investors to share what's going on. I saw this article. Some of you had been asking about Jamaican government bonds. I posted this, 3 days ago? So apparently they opened up some bonds that pay 10% interest. If you were in the community, you would have gotten this notification. You would have seen this. I think it's probably closed now. And St. Nicholas is in the community, and he figured it out. This was just me asking a general question because I was showing somebody an example of how to do it. This was when the NCB real estate fund was open. Here we have a space for US investors to post about, what's going on the US markets. So Kevon posted this about Tesla being up. So there's just so much potential for this community, and I would love to see you join me in it. So thank you very much for the question, Maria, and giving me the opportunity to explain. Treat You said, I wasn't there last night. I would love to join the foundation. Treat You, the link is in the description. So right underneath this video, right under there, you might need to click expand. I'm not sure how high up in the description it is, but you will see the option to watch the replay, because the replay, like I said, is going to be available for free until tomorrow. And you will also see the option for you to join the community. Now, if you join the free version, which gives you just the option to view the replay, let me show you what that is gonna look like. I will have to sign out from my account and sign in as under a different account so that I can show you, because I really think this is important for you to see. New activity, yay. Okay, all right, this is my fake account. This is my other account. So this is what it looks like for you right now if you are in the in the free version of the community. So right now, if you click on any of those tabs, what you will see is the options to subscribe. And you'll have to choose a plan in order to see the rest of the information. So I was in my paid version just now, where you could see everything. You could see what was in the Money Mission Masterclass series. Here you can't. You can only see the outline of it. You can only see the outline of the free resources, for example. And then you get prompted to choose a plan. So this is what it probably looks like for most of you who are signed in right now under the free version. So Treat You Botanical, just go to the link in bio, or go to, not in bio, in the description, or go to moneymission.mn.co. The foundation offer and the replay are available until tomorrow at midnight. So tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. is when that offer expires. You get to lock in your rate for life. Lamtree says, last night was very informative. Thank you, Lamtree. So yes. And then we have Ryan saying we need literature on business at the next Calabash Festival. Absolutely, we do. Producer asking me if it's tomorrow or June 1st. Tomorrow, we end it tomorrow. I think I had sent out some messages saying Thursday. I meant to say Wednesday. I got the days all mixed up in my head because I thought yesterday was Tuesday because it felt like a taking stock day. Anyway, it's supposed to be tomorrow. 48 hours is where the replay is available for. So yeah, Orlando wants to know, how can I get a hold of your masterclass program? Well, I just showed you how. Is there an email or should I get a phone number to call? No, just go to moneymission.mn.co. moneymission.mn.co. I have another domain for it that's easier to remember, but I'm still working on the landing page for that. So right now it is moneymission.mn.co. The link is in the description. Actually, I'm going to type it in the chat as well. Now, before we go to the break and introduce the analyst panel, let me mention we do have a poll for tonight. We have tonight's poll question. What's tonight's poll question? Oh, yes. Ooh, big news. What do you think about Jean-Ann Panton's allegations that she was persuaded to confess by SSL founder Hugh Croskrey? Scandalous. A, I thought that all along. B, she's just trying to get out of jail. C, there's more than just that. D, I don't know how to feel. Or other, leave a comment. Take tonight's poll and let us know how you feel. Sachelle, post the poll in the Money Mission community as well. And guys, while you're at it, hit the like button. Up next, we've got your market recap, and the analysts are standing by.
This segment of Taking Stock was brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, Insurance Made Easy.
Hey moneymakers, join the KRM fam with our official merch. Get it now at KalilaReynolds.com. Let's get this money.
The JSE Combined Index gained over 6,000 points or 2% last week. 126 stocks traded across the main and junior markets for the week ending Friday, May 26, 2023. 52 made gains, 58 lost value, and 16 stayed the same. 133 million shares changed hands on the Jamaican dollar market, valued at $463 million. Paramount Trading was the week's most traded stock. It took up 20% of market volume with 28 million shares trading. The stock's price remained unchanged, opening Monday at $2.08. FosRich traded the second highest. The stock gained 33 cents to open this week at $2.79. And the Trans-Jamaican Highway rounded out last week's most traded with 16 million shares changing hands. The stock gained 6 cents to open Monday at $1.99. Now let's see who had the biggest gains for the week. Cygnus Real Estate Financial JMD was the week's biggest gainer. The stock was up almost 33% to open Monday at $13.42. JMMB 7% VR JMD CR preference shares was the second biggest gainer. It went up 29% to start the new week at $2.48. And Cygnus Real Estate Finance USD was up 23% to open the week at 11 cents US. On the losing side now, JPS 7% was last week's biggest loser, down 30%. The stock opened Monday at $60. Iron Rock Insurance fell 26% to open the new week at $1.85. And Portland JSX was down 18%, closing the week at $9.25. Over on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, the composite index was flat last week. Massey was the most traded stock. The stock gained 15 cents to open this week at $5.15 TT. Endeavour Holdings was the market's biggest gain, up 13% to open this week at $12.65 TT. And on the losing side, Guardian Media fell 8% to open Monday at $2.30 TT. Over in the US, the Dow Jones lost 1% last week, while the S&P 500 was mostly stable and the Nasdaq gained 2%. At the pumps, gas prices climbed $1.26 last week, while the price of regular diesel gained 25 cents and low sulfur diesel was up 16 cents. In foreign exchange, it took an average $155.33 Jamaican to purchase $1 last Friday. That's 6 cents more than a week before. Meanwhile, it took an average $115.52 Jamaican to purchase $1 Canadian. One British pound cost on average $192.57 Jamaican. And you could buy €1 for $170.14 Jamaican on average. Finally, on the crypto markets, Bitcoin prices rose 6% over the past 5 days, trading at $27,896 US on Monday, while Ethereum gained 5.5%, trading at $1,899 US on Monday.
This segment of Taking Stock, The Analysts, is brought to you by Jamaica National Group. We'll help you find a way. Disclaimer. This is not intended as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.
All right, welcome back. A few more comments before we join the analysts. Ingrid is encouraging people to hit the like button, and share with a friend, guys. I love how Ingrid just always remembers that, I got your back. I like that you got my back, Ingrid. Speechless says, you're selling us now? Oh, no, Cal? No, I want you to buy. I'm always telling something. You notice that? So yes, purchase, join the community. Stuff takes money to produce, supports the cause, support the initiative. If you always want free things, but you know that what you get for free and what you get in a paid subscription, anything is always two different things, right? And for example, as the same speechless saying, but Cal, chat GPT will soon compete with all of that. That bot gonna change a lot of things. Yes, it does. But you notice chat GPT just rolled out a subscription as well. So you want to pay chat GPT, but you don't want to pay me, speechless? After me give you so much things for free. Yeah, the community is gonna be lit. And then Maria also wanted to know, will there be info on how to invest in US stocks via the JSC in the community, or do you have this info elsewhere? We don't currently have this information. I don't think it is available right now. The JSC has been saying that they're working on it, but up to now, I've only heard that they have the Canadian stock exchange is connected somehow. I still don't know exactly how. I haven't looked into that. I should. But that information isn't available to us just yet. We do want to do more info on US markets, which is why we often have Keisha on to tell us what's going on US markets. But the thing is, guys, you got to support the community. If you want information, premium information, you got to pay for it, because I would love to pay somebody to post that type of information in the community for you. I can't ask people to work for free. And then for those of you who just want to share what you know, post it inside the community, right? That's how it's going to work. So join the community at moneymission.mn.co. And Speechless, thank you so much. He says, "I'd rather pay you every time." All right. Well, I hope to see you in the community, Speechless, under your real names. I wouldn't even know it's you unless you introduce yourself. Let me introduce our analysts for this evening. I'm joined by Senior Research Analyst at JN Group, Faye Samuels, and business writer at the Jamaica Observer, David Rose. Welcome, Faye. Welcome, David.
Good night,
Good night,
Kalila.
Kalila. Good night, Kalila.
David, I sent you an email with the free link. Make sure you join the community, you know. Not much people want that free link.
Kalila, if you see, my last couple of days have been, trust me, I have a couple of emails I need to go and check and actually, go and read. It's been a lot of things going on in life.
I'm sure, yes. All right, we're gonna start with Faye this evening. So Faye, you're looking at Spur Tree, a company that a lot of people watching right now would have bought at IPO, and they've just released their 3-month results. Give us the highlights.
Thank you, Kalila. Please share my screen. Okay. Okay, so a quick overview before we go into the numbers. Spur Tree, as you know, their principal activity include manufacturing and distributing seasoning spices, canned akis, and kalaloo, primarily for the export market. The company, as you remember, was listed in the early part of 2022, and they got over $200 million in capital that they deployed into increasing production and establishing another production facility in St. Thomas. The company has a strategic plan of transitioning from a sauces and seasonings provider to a fully equipped food company. And we have seen this being realized. So, for example, in 2021, they partnered with Exotic Products. Then in 2022, they acquired 51% of Canco Limited, which trades as Linstead Market. We have also seen where they have made significant progress in expanding their distribution in overseas markets. And on the side here, you see some of the companies where they distribute from, for example, ShopRite and Food Bazaar. They have also included Stop and Shop in the US, and through the National Baking Company, they also distribute to the UK. For Jamaica and for the wider region, they have partnered with Massey Distributions to distribute products. So now looking at the results, the financial statements, an extract from the financial statements. If we look at financial year 2022, which is the latest annual results, we see that the company continues to experience significant growth over the period presented, demonstrating the successful implementation of their ambitious growth strategies. For 2022, we see that revenues rose from 860 million in 2021 to 1.03 billion in 2022. So Spur Tree made it into the $1 billion revenue club in 2022. That was an increase of 62%. So the knock on
Nice.
Yes, that's great. So the knock-on effect of that strong top-line growth was that their net profits also rose 27% from 91 million to 115 million for 2022. Now, moving on to the 3-month results, we see that they're, I'm sorry, skipping too fast. We see that the growth continues for Spur Tree. For revenues, there was a 62% increase in revenue from 22 to 23. That's quarter one, where the revenue moved from 237 million to 383 million. So this revenue was driven by the sales from their acquisitions. So, for example, Kanko and Exotic Products, as well as they experienced a reduction in the supply chain challenges that they experienced, especially in 2020 after the pandemic and after the Ukraine Russian escalation. So now we're seeing that they're having an easier time in sourcing their bottles and cans, which they mainly source from overseas. So even though the company was better able to source these materials, they still source most of their most of their raw materials from the local farmers and so on. So the high inflationary environment in Jamaica has caused the costs of their raw materials to go up substantially. However, the company has said that they continue to have conversations to strategize with these local partners to see how they can reduce costs. They also have plans to try to build capacity to take advantage of excesses in the market because they focus on products, agricultural products such as ackee. So when, for example, there's a glut in the market, ackees are everywhere, the prices are usually lower, and if they are able to store them, then they would have them for longer periods and they would have gotten them at a great price. So given that the costs and expenses both went up substantially, you would think that it would impact their profits, but nonetheless, revenue growth was high enough, sufficient, where their gross profits grew now from 124 million and approximately 40% growth it grew from 89 million up to 124 million compared to last year. Their gross margin, however, was a little bit lower, moving down to 32%. But it's still comparable to what we have seen over the periods here. So we could still say that they're showing some amount of stability. The efficiency ratio deteriorated slightly as well, moving from 16 to 17%. And this was because of the growth in their expenses. So the raw material prices went up, but also their admin and other expenses rose significantly, over 70%. Most of this was again driven by the consolidation of their new acquisitions, that's Kanko, as well as they have been making additional investments in lease space and staff expenditure. But given that this should support further growth, we're not really worried about these costs growing because it's for the future.
Mm.
They also face a substantive increase in finance costs. This was again due to loans that they acquired for the Kanko acquisition. If we look at overall profits, due to the increases in costs and expenses, they recorded a slight fall in net profit from 50 million to 47 million. But you have to take in mind that last year in 2021, the quarter one of 2021, they had a substantial increase, over 190% growth in their profits. So it would have been very, very hard for them to top that. Following the decline in the profit, net profit margin also weakened a little bit. However, as the company continues this aggressive growth strategy, and strategizes methods of containing costs, deepening market penetration, we expect to see positive impacts on profits over time. We can also see that the EPS, the earnings per share, moved down a little bit from 3 to 2 cents. But even though this highlights a slight reduction in value for shareholders, given the growth trajectory of Spur Tree, it's kind of expected that shareholder value would fall a little bit because they're spending a lot on growing, expanding, and acquiring new business. I look at the balance sheet now. We see that their total assets grew substantially by 103%. And this is partially due to a lot of property, plant, and equipment that they acquired after consolidating with Linstead Market. Their intangible assets also grew. Inventories and receivables went up by a lot as well. Some of the inventories increased due to them trying to store a lot of, for example, the bottles and cans that they had some trouble getting in the previous periods, so that they would always be able to continue meeting demand in the market. The cash balances went down as well. Not as well. Conversely, the cash balances went down, and this is expected given that they're on a growing path. So it's kind of normal for them to be spending a lot of money. Liabilities also increased by over 500%, and that is also in line with the growth and investing. Shareholders' equity went up by 38%. Most of that came from the increase in the profits that they saw, but also some of it was from the consolidation of newly acquired investments. So they're rolling everything into the balance sheet. Looking at the price performance and valuation, currently Spur Tree trades at about 34 times, while the market PE, that's for the junior market manufacturing companies, is approximately 26 times. So this number would make it appear that Spur Tree is somewhat overvalued compared to its peers on the junior market. However, given the speed at which Spur Tree is growing, its higher price to earnings ratio when compared to its peers may be justified. We know that the price has moved from the original IPO price of $1, and it went up as high as $4. So now at $2.64, it does have some value for the discerning investor. The outlook for the market now. Our outlook for Spur Tree remains positive given the huge growth potential. There's also, we believe, untapped segments left within the diaspora and Caribbean market. And given their proactive pursuit of aggressive growth strategies and investments to ensure continuous growth, we believe that it's definitely a company to look out for. However, there are, of course, possible headwinds as well. Given that the supply chain disruptions impacted their production where they were unable to source enough bottles and cans, that's something that could happen again with any external shocks. There is also the local availability of their raw materials. Most of the materials are agricultural products. So if there is adverse weather or climate change, then there's likely that the company will not be able to meet the demand, and thus that would impact profits. Currently, inflationary pressures remain high. They're trending down, but they're still high. And of course, this will likely impact labor and raw material prices as well. Additionally, central banks have continued with a tight monetary policy. We see where the BOJ has decided to hold interest rates, but other countries such as the US have continued to hike. Though the pace has reduced, they're still hiking. So that remains an issue. As a company that looks to grow and make acquisitions, they're going to be facing much higher financing costs with higher interest rates. And this may curtail their expansion activities. This is the main source of their growth that we have seen, acquiring companies in order to grow. So if they're unable to finance those, then their profits may reach a limit. Of course, given the high interest rates as well, putting a pressure on the whole economy, there is the big R, the recession fears. I consider Spur Tree products a premium product because if I talk to my friends and family overseas, they would probably say, a can of Aki is somewhat expensive relatively. So if there's a recession and you have to choose, you're going to probably bypass the premium product to go for maybe a store brand or a different kind of protein. So that's something that they have to look out for if the economy slows down here and in most of the diaspora markets. However, Spur Tree has a wide distribution network right across the US, Canada, Cayman, and the UK. And with the diverse range of products, and we see them having a whole, the line abroad is so much more than we have seen here. From sauces, seasonings, cornmeal, juices. So, given this
Yeah.
wide
I remember
array of
when they
products,
did the IPO, I was like, I'd never heard of Spur Tree before, but everybody abroad, Spur Tree is big.
yes, it's full on the Caribbean shelves in those supermarkets over there, and they have everything, even cornmeal. I was shocked to see the cornmeal. So, given this diverse range of products, we still anticipate that growth will remain and the company still looks good. So, in summary, based on what I've said here, we believe that Spur Tree does offer some value to investors and it's definitely a stock to look at.
Thank you so much for that assessment, Faye.
You're
Very
welcome.
well done, and you gave us a lot of food for thought. No pun intended, this evening. Well, David, you have some news for us regarding FosRich. We've been hearing about this rights issue for months now. What's the update?
So there's one thing before I get into the FosRich, for Spur Tree, you know, we take out the Canco company, the profits would have been down 35%. They did about $32.8 million as a standalone company. That's at one point. Then with respect to FosRich, you know, they had initially said, they were going to delay, the equity raise back in March after their financial year results came out. And, now after the first quarter results have been published, they have decided to go ahead, and in this case, raise equity. And, it's a rights issue. So in context, you have to be a shareholder as on record by June 2, which means that, you would have to, well, tomorrow is actually the last day to purchase any shares to be a shareholder on record for the FosRich rights issue. So for those who don't understand what I'm saying, when you buy a stock, you don't actually own that stock immediately. There's a settlement process that needs to occur first. And in Jamaica, we go by T+2, which means the trade day plus 2 business days. So when you buy, for example, FosRich on Wednesday, that's will be the trade day. Thursday and Friday will be the 2 business days, and settlement will complete on the Friday. So, while I mentioned all of this, you kind of saw FosRich share price, come down by 9.81%. Today came to that $2.39. And it's kind of interesting because when the news came out after hours last week, Monday, and then when Wednesday came, price shot up from $2.31 to like $3 in just one day. And you see, as they get closer to the rights issue, ex-dividend dates and record dates, prices kind of trending back down. FosRich, is going to basically be capped, at raising about $131 million after fees, since, the junior market rules, still restrict, you from not increasing your share capital beyond $500 million, because either you're going to move to the main market or you get an exemption to, remain in a junior market but pay main market fees. And, FosRich has another 5 years left and change, with their junior market tax break. So what's going on with FosRich otherwise? So right now, FosRich is just going forward in terms of growing the business aggressively throughout all areas that are possible. So they're working in their superstore on Mullines Road, through the GK Pension Fund. They just incorporated a new company in the USA, in Delaware, which is everybody's favorite, place to incorporate a nice S corporation, a C corporation. And, they're looking to go after, the minority contracts, that are going to be going towards minority-owned businesses, and also looking at opportunities that will exist, from UN-based contracts where, they're PVC manufactured base right now and other potential business lines in the future.
What are the odds of them getting those US government contracts?
It's not impossible. The reality is, if you give the best bid and you give the best pitch and you are in with guidelines, you win. And the thing is,
well, I mean, JFP got contracts in the US, not government contracts, but Remember when they did their IPO, and I was like, you're gonna get those, and they got some of those contracts. So yeah, like you said, it's not impossible. Go
It's
for it.
about delivery of the service and the product. Are you going to give the quality at the right price, or are you going to give lip with just grand ambitions? And Cecil Foster's more so being delivering on quality and price rather than just lip, because Foster's have just been pushing forward, because they have the PVC transformer business and PVC the transformer business with respect to JPS in terms of repairing those transformers, and the PVC business, they're exporting more into the Caribbean, looking at Guyana, they're doing opportunities on the USA, and partially released back in December 2017, and it's kind of insane in a sense that if you do 10 to 1 to adjust for the stock split, like your investment at 20 cents, which would have been $2 before the stock split price, would be worth $2 now, almost 5 years later. So even with the pandemic, impacting, our equity prices over the last 2 years and everything, first just basically, quote unquote, what? Probably 10x, just 5 years, which isn't a bad return, considering everything else being equal.
That's an amazing return. You understated that, which isn't a bad return. 10x in 5 years is a wonderful return.
Yeah, and the thing is, even though the company, saw a slight
Look at
reduction,
politician pay increase.
well, good one. But although Patrick saw a 20% decline, in the first quarter net profit, you have to remember, Patrick's 100% tax emission would have been gone, considering the fact that their initial 5 years would have expired, so they pay 50% tax emission now. But we have about $1 billion in sales, and just keep expanding and growing. And the good thing about equity raise, in this case, the rights issue, is that if it starts to be completed, that actually brings down FosRich's debt to equity ratio, which does give them a little bit more space to actually raise debt for other future projects. So while the stock price has come down this year, the reality is business has not. It's kept chugging along, going forward. So that's just my update on FosRich, and I'm not telling person to go and buy any FosRich shares. I'm just pointing out, that to be on record, tomorrow's the last day that you have the time or the chance to actually qualify to be on record for the rights issue.
I think we need to have FosRich back on to talk about some of these developments and the contracts that they're eyeing and so on. We need an update from FosRich since the last time they were on. Now, Faye, I have a comment for you from Shelia, and she had two comments actually. She says, "You are wrong there. Jamaicans in North America don't care about the price of Jamaican food. We are going to buy them because we need them." And then she said, "I ate my last tuna ackee yesterday. Jamaicans miss Jamaican food more than we miss family and friends. Once I land in Jamaica, if patty costs $5,000, I'm still buying it."
Well, I'm sure Spur Tree will be very, very happy to hear that.
I was thinking the same thing. You said it's a premium product, but it's like some women and their hair. Like, they don't care how much it costs. Hair have to do. Jamaican
Well,
food have to eat.
okay, noted.
One thing to kind of point out, Kalila, in the
mhm.
case of Spur Tree, they actually brought Canco, the company they bought, back into profitability. So if you look at the acquisition details, Canco was operating on loss for most of 2022. And just in the first quarter, they're profitable now. So Spur Tree knows what they're doing in terms of, turning a quote unquote opportunity, in this case where they acquired the business, into a future opportunity to drive greater earnings.
So on that note, Eat, Play, Grow has a question. And I asked this question, of course, with the caveat that this is not investment advice. Consult with your licensed financial advisor to see what investments are right with you. But she wants to know, what's a better buy, FosRich or Spur Tree, in your opinions? Having looked at the growth and the trajectories of both companies, what do you think? Not necessarily for this particular person, because we don't know what her goals are, but in general.
In general, I would say Spur Tree is suited for someone who intends to hold for a while. So if you know that you're in it for a long while because they're on a growth path, they're acquiring companies and they're growing, then Spur Tree is definitely a good bet.
And what would you say, David?
I'll go with FosRich right now, in considering the fact that while Spur Tree has this new pathway through massive holdings, and going further and further in export markets, their growth is going to be driven based on the diversification of their product range. Because while they've acquired Kanko and they're still mainly in sauces, you're going to have a limitation on the potential pool of customers that you're going to have. In a sense, you can grow in Jamaica more to grow the domestic share and grow your income at home, but most of the business are in exports. So, I really think I need to just step forward to grow, or diversify that range. It is me, I'm not saying that you're not an appropriate company. I'm just wanting to your growth is not going to be as relatively fast as FosRich, which even if, for example, you're seeing construction slow down, FosRich is basically, diversifying their business and market spheres in different directions. I highlighted the US opportunity, highlighted the export opportunity, Guyana, Barbados, highlighted the PVC manufacturing business and, the superstore and, the PVC, the transformer repair business. So FosRich the stronger growth path. And the reality is if FosRich stock price, shot up that fast last year and, they have a much greater perspective path going forward, I don't know what to say, but both companies are great, businesses in their own respect. Just understand that FosRich has 5 years, it's on their tax break. Spur Tree just getting started.
Okay, well, there you have it. 2 different opinions. And like we said before, it depends on your goals. Faye clearly said if you intend to hold, then Spur Tree is something that you want to consider. Thanks again, David. Thank you, Faye.
You're welcome.
We will take a very quick break and come back with your final comments.
This segment of Taking Stock, The Analysts, was brought to you by Jamaica National Group. We'll help you find a way.
So a few more comments from the crew. The money makers in the chat, Roswell said, FosRich made good strides in stock price after trading low at $2.30 and then inching up to $3 a week after. Sean says, too many investors want out of FosRich. The stock price can't get a chance to grow. And then we have some people commenting about scamming versus investing. Let's not even get into that. Sean says Spur Tree for sure would be the better pick for him. Bada wants to know, is Jamaica a good destination for a successful business? All depends on what type of business, Badis. If you're in manufacturing, listen, you're going to pay an arm and a leg on light bill. So you're going to have some challenges there. But, it all depends on what type of business you want to operate. And then, of course, you also have the solar option, which could help with that light bill situation. So, yeah. Let me see. Sean says, not even the RI can cause this stock, that's the rights issue, can cause this stock to grow for FosRich, in his opinion. Let me see what else we have here. Speechless says, nothing better than Jamaican cooked food. Trust me, when you are abroad for a while, especially if you've been living there for long, when you get that food from home, listen, every time I go home to Belize, I plan my food stops. Like, it's as much a food tour as it is about seeing family. Like, I know I have to go here, I eat some hudut, I have to go there, I eat some rice and beans, I have to go there, I get panades from this place, I have to get Miss Mary meat pie. It's always a food stop whenever I go home. Sean again says, where's the comment? Where did it go? I believe if GK believes in Spur Tree, I don't see a reason why I shouldn't. Well, you have a point there, Sean. So let me just leave you with our last words, reminding you guys again, check out the Money Mission community. Like I said, more and more of our premium content, the stuff that, we put the most effort into, is going to go into the community, into our paid community. As you all, ooh, where's my voice going this evening? As you all were saying, where's the comment? Lemoy says, money have to spend to make money and increase your financial IQ. So you're really doing a magnificent job, Cal. You go, girl. Thank you so much. Hope to see you in the community, Lemoy. And our first guest, we haven't gotten the guest yet, but as a follow-up to our discussion about the real cost of debt last night, we are now looking to invite somebody from one of the credit bureaus to help us understand all about the credit reports. So what is it? What do these numbers mean? How can you improve it? I know a lot of people have some issues with old stuff being on their credit report and screwing up their credit. We want to talk about it. And that is going to be soon as we get the person inside the Money Mission community. And we're going to be having more discussions like that, more very, very important conversations, information that you need to know. And of course, you can also make your own suggestions to us inside the community as to what you want to see in there. What type of content do you want? What information do you need? We are very, very open to suggestion. What new courses should we create? I want to invite somebody to talk about Airbnb, how to run a successful Airbnb. You heard Mark earlier saying that is a hot market. 40% of Jamaica's tourism numbers are now going straight to Airbnb, not the big hotels. So that definitely is a hot one that we need to tackle. How do you run a successful Airbnb? What does it take? What are the elements? Who are the people you need to contact? Who you need to know? What you need to do? What you need to buy? We want to talk about it inside the community. So make sure you join at moneymission.mn.co. We have the basic membership, which is $30 a month. And we have the premium membership, which is $270 for the year, which means I did the maths. 30 times 12 is 360. And we're giving you at $270 if you become a foundation member by tomorrow at midnight. Tomorrow at midnight, you get that foundation deal. And the other thing about the foundation offer is that you lock in that rate for life. So inflation where? Not in the Money Mission, not if you're a foundation member, that price will stay the same. No matter if JMD got to 1,000 to 1 US, which I hope never ever happens, you still gotta pay the same price. All right, that's our show for this week. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with a friend. Did I mention? I told you last week. You also have the opportunity to be an ambassador for Money Mission and earn 40% commission. So I'm willing to revenue share with you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Every person you refer to the community, you earn 40% of the revenue from that person, from the sign up of that person. So if they sign up for the premium membership, which is $270 right now, you get $108 out of that. And if you sign up 10 people, that's $1,080. You get what I'm coming from? All right, so cool. moneymission.mn.co is where you go. Also subscribe to the newsletter at KalilaReynolds.com/newsletter. You're going to have some nice free perks when you sign up because we want to help people learn more about money so we can all get the money together. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm so tired of the fake profiles, which is also part of the reason I'm moving some of this content to the membership. I got to protect my intellectual property. I don't have any backup accounts on these platforms. So when you see them, just please report and block. If you want to connect with the analysts this week, check the description box below for their contact information. And of course, visit our website, KalilaReynolds.com, for financial information you can use however you like it. You can watch. We do have a podcast as well, or you can read. Now, tell a friend about taking stock because investing is the new sexy. So let's make it cool to talk about money. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.